and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. I took up the wall. I took up the wall. I took up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another edition on Split Decision. Today we're gonna recap the whole press conference between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. More so, we're gonna reflect on what Tyson Fury had to say and Deontay Wilder. And like I said before, the ground rules for calling in. If you do call in, just make sure if you do have a question, you ask it right away. If you want to debate, you let it be known that you want to debate right away. But if not, I could bring up a topic and we could discuss it. And if you have a question, you're obviously not going to discuss a topic with me. But if you don't have a question, then we're going to talk about a topic that I'm going to bring up to the table. With that being said, go ahead, subscribe below, click on the notification bell to be continued and to be notified every time I post or go live. With that being stated, click on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. It's free. It don't cost nothing. So with that being stated, go ahead and call in to hold your position. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Obviously, I took some time off last week because I told you guys I had to deal with a lot of different stuff. My daughter was sick, and I had a lot of things going on. But we back on track, and we got big things coming. We got Errol Spence versus Pacquiao and the biggest fight of the year between Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury trilogy. This fight is the most important fight and the most significant fight of the history of the sport. So we're going to talk about all the above. Make sure you call in to hold your position. And let's get straight to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
So I'm going to start off with the first caller. I actually have a person that said he wanted to debate me. This person tried to schedule a debate with me for a whole week. So if you do want to debate me, all you got to do is just hit me up on Instagram and we can set it up that way. So hopefully this is the person I've been looking for because he have been challenging me for a while. So this is the first person I'm going to pick up. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. We shall see. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
Hey, what's happening, man? This your boy 222 calling from California. And salutations off top, AKHi, man. Much respect.
How you doing, AKHi? So this ain't because I have a person from Mexico that was supposed to call in and debate me. So this ain't it.
No, not at all, bro. I'll just call real quick to just drop, mind what I see, Deontay doing going into this trilogy fight. When we look at the stats from the first fight, Deontay Wilder landed a total of 430 punches. Out of those 430 punches, only 27 to the body. And I'm looking at Tyson Fury going into both of those fights, and what he looks to be going into the third fight, this dude is soft to the body. His head movement is, I guess, somewhat slick, but you got to beat that drum. I feel like if Deontay Wilder focus on head movement himself and go to that body, it could be an easy fight.
That's a great point you brought up. Errol Spence once said, you break the body, the head will follow. So you got to chop the body and chop it like a tree. Eventually the tree's going to fall, right? So That's a great point, because I actually went back and watched the rematch, and I did notice one thing. You know, this is what Tyson Fury does. It's a boxing tactic. Obviously, for the people that don't know, if you're trying to take your opponent right hand away from them, there's a simple adjustment, which is you make a quick step backwards and you put your left hand up, your lead hand up. That way, you could block the incoming, either deflect it or, you know, take it away from distance. So Tyson Fury will make a quick step back every time Deontay Wilder try to load up with the right hand, and he will put his left hand up, right? So this
Exactly.
whole body area right here, this whole body area is exposed. So if instead of Deontay Wilder throwing the right hand upstairs, he could go downstairs, which will force Tyson Fury to start blocking the body shots. He won't be able to just, you know, put his hand out there to block the Deontay Wilder right hand. So there is a great observation on your end that Deontay Wilder does need to focus to the body. I mean, we already know what time it is with Deontay Wilder. You know, he got that one hitter quick.
Exactly.
So,
and not only focus to the body, but then focus on his head movement as well, because Tyson Fury is out there head hunting also. If Deontay Wilder can stand behind that stick, work that jab, cut the ring off, go to the body, this will be an easy fight for Deontay Wilder. And before I bounce, AKHi, the other thing I want to mention, I see some cats in the chat talking about Tyson Fury is about to win by knockout. How? This dude came into the second fight with tempered gloves and still couldn't knock out Deontay Wilder.
Yeah. Now, hold on. I don't want you to go. Hold on. We're gonna discuss certain things real quick. But first of all, you know, just look at this photo right here. You know, let's see Tyson Fury replicate what he did in the rematch. Because if he's not able to trash Deontay Wilder the way he did in the rematch, we already know what time it is. What's understood don't have to be explained. And let me tell you one thing. We already know Tyson Fury didn't have the glove in the right position in the first fight with the left hand. Obviously, we all saw Tyson Fury fist in the palm area, right? We saw the glove rotate in 90 to 100 degrees. So Tyson Fury cheated in the first fight as well. But the referee had came out and said that he thought Deontay won the fight. The referee that gave Tyson Fury extra count, he said, round by round, I believe Deontay Wilder won the fight. So in the rematch, Tyson Fury had to up the scale when it comes to cheating, because he realized, man, this man is dangerous from round 1 to round 12, because all he needs is one punch. And obviously in the sport of boxing, eventually you're going to get hit. If you box, you're going to get hit. Just like if you swim, you're going to get wet. So it's hard to just not get hit with anything significant throughout the whole fight. Therefore, you really got to knock out Deontay Wilder before he knocks you out, because eventually he going to catch you. But we already know what time it is with Tyson Fury. He does not have a lot of power. So how did he make up for not having too much power? Tyson Fury clearly tampered with his glove. And for the people that don't believe it,
exactly,
you know, people, like I said, people lie, men lie, women lie, but your eyes don't lie. And we saw in the rematch,
a picture is still worth 1,000 words, my boy. No doubt about it. And then we see, you know, the scrutiny after the rematch and how much, you know, pressure is going to be on Tyson Fury going into this trilogy as far as cheating is involved. For one, he's a known cheater. Okay, he threatened a man's life. He threatened a man's life for saying that he was forced to corroborate a story about this wild boar meat. Let's not forget that. And then knowing that Deontay Wilder can end your night with one punch, what is he talking about now? Putting on 300 pounds, going into this fight, looking for the knockout.
Yeah, well, we already know what time it is. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. You know, I mean, he could gain weight all he want, but you know, he's still not gonna have devastating power. He's not gonna have power. We see the circumstances that Deontay Wilder was under in the rematch, and shockingly, surprisingly, Tyson Fury still couldn't put him out. I mean, imagine that. everything Deontay Wilder went through,
Exactly.
and he was still standing up on his feet, because right before the referee stopped the fight and Mark Breland threw in the white towel, Deontay Wilder landed a left hook, so he couldn't be that hurt, where he, he was knocked out, because he obviously threw a punch back right before the fight was stopped. So the point that I'm trying to make is Tyson Fury knew what he was up against when he fought Deontay Wilder the second time. That's why he had to cheat and up the scale when it comes to cheating, because he realized that this is a dangerous fight. I remember like it was yesterday. Tyson Fury had said during the press conference, or the post-fight press conference for the first fight, he said that Deontay Wilder put him in a coma. A few days later, Tyson Fury father said he don't want Tyson Fury to fight Deontay Wilder again because he's scared for his son's life. So we already know what time it is. A cheater will always resort back to cheating. You know what I'm saying? So
always.
But at the end of the day, all eyes will be on Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder already made it clear as day that there's going to be a microscope on Tyson Fury. So everything he do will be, he's not going to be able to get away with the things he got away with last time. So with that being said, Deontay Wilder still have to make sure he secure this victory, because I see him working with my man Malik Scott. Malik Scott, one thing I liked what he said during the press conference, he said me and Deontay Wilder got great chemistry. So when I tell him to do something, he does it. And that's the main thing, is you want to tell a fighter to do something, and the fighter follows the instructions, because it's pointless if you have a trainer that's talking to you and you're not really listening to him, right? So I think that's a great thing. If a trainer and a fighter has chemistry together, they could understand each other. Deontay Wilder could tell the trainer how he feels in the ring. So the main thing though is hide the right hand. Deontay Wilder has to hide.
Right. Most definitely.
Because that's
most definitely, and you see him doing that.
Yeah, because
with Malik Scott, not only do they have great chemistry, but Malik Scott has fought Deontay Wilder himself, so he knows Deontay Wilder's strengths and weaknesses. And also looking at the first two fights, he sees holes in Tyson Fury's defense, as well as the mistakes that Deontay Wilder made. And if we look at some of these little leaks that they putting out, it's for his training camp, you see him talking exactly what we talking. Work on that jab, stay behind that stick, and go to the body.
Yeah, for sure. And that's we see the footage. Deontay Wilder looks sharp. He's on his toes. Now, I want Deontay Wilder to be on his toes, but not trying to box Tyson Fury. He got to take it to him and try to back the bigger man up. And even when Tyson Fury try to bully him in the inside and apply dirty tactics, Wilder has to hit him to the body the way I see him training on footage. Because, I remember the Wilder fight. Tyson Fury looked very vulnerable when Wilder took the fight to him and was fighting him in the inside. Tyson Fury didn't look too comfortable, because Tyson Fury will have the herky-jerky, moving his head. So if you keep head hunting, you're obviously going to miss, because as soon as Deontay Wilder makes a motion, as soon as Wilder does anything, Tyson Fury's already moving his head. So it's hard to catch a person like that.
Right.
What do you got to do? You got to chop that tree down and hide the right hand. How do you do that? You got to go to the body with the jab. You also work off the jab upstairs and downstairs. And more importantly, do what you did against, Ortiz, because Luis Ortiz, arguably the most skillful heavyweight, and he actually has knockout punching power. And when Wilder fought him the second time,
no doubt about it,
we saw Deontay Wilder have a hard time with Luis Ortiz. But what did Deontay Wilder do around the 4th and 5th round? He started hiding the right hand. He started throwing hooks to the body, hooks upstairs. So he put Luis Ortiz to sleep, because Luis Ortiz stopped worrying about that right hand. So what ended up happening, that right hand came out of nowhere, because Luis Ortiz got comfortable. That's what Deontay Wilder has to do. He has to set Tyson Fury up by throwing hooks, by throwing jabs upstairs and downstairs, and more importantly, throw 2 jabs upstairs, then go downstairs with the right hand. Man, that right hand, if it lands correctly to the body,
and then combination punches.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. In no shade, you know, I try to keep it respectable. But if I see a man or a fighter come into a fight looking like they just had a baby, you know, that body is soft. I'm gonna beat that drum. You know, and I agree with what you said. I feel like Deontay Wilder has to take the fight to Tyson Fury, walk him down, pressure him, and I would actually like to see Deontay Wilder come into this fight maybe 10 pounds heavier. In that rematch, he came in 220, and Tyson Fury came in 270 with tempered gloves. I would like to see Deontay Wilder come in at least at 230, 235, where he can actually push Tyson Fury backwards with that jab and hitting him to the body.
No, I agree. In the combination part, like I said, we see Wilder working on combinations with Malik Scott. And, you know, if he throws combinations to Tyson Fury, that's going to be devastating because, you know, even mix the combinations, have Tyson Fury guessing of what's coming. Like, you know, jab, jab, right hand to the body. Next time, jab, jab, right hand to the body, but come back with a hook. Then Tyson Fury wouldn't know what to expect because at that point in time, he's more worried about getting hit than hitting Deontay Wilder. Because, yeah, you can hit Deontay Wilder, he's going to be able to take your shots. But we already know if Deontay Wilder hit Tyson Fury might actually get put down and not be able to get up. So, like I said, there's a lot of things he got to work on. I do like the fact that, you know, Deontay Wilder, he coming in for the kill, man. Deontay Wilder, he stated on Barbershop Conversation, he said that he want Tyson Fury more than he want to breathe. He want to beat Tyson Fury more than he want to breathe. He don't even care about the title. So that lets you know the mindset that Deontay Wilder is in right now. He's ready. It's kill or be killed. That's how Deontay Wilder's operating. Because during the press conference, a lot of people was questioning why he was silent. Man, Wilder, he ain't trying to talk no more. He's trying to let his fist do the talking. You know, a lot of people were trying to say, man, Tyson Fury fans are so delusional. They said Tyson Fury won the face-off. He won the face-off. But what's funny, they don't realize Deontay Wilder, man, he want to put his hands on Tyson Fury right then and there. Wilder had to walk away.
Yes, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, he did. And the main reason why we talking about this man came into the rematch with tempered gloves and could have killed Deontay Wilder. That's what nobody is mentioning. This man could have killed Deontay Wilder. You know, we seen him, not only was the gloves tampered, Deontay Wilder is alluding to the fact that this dude might have actually had something inside the gloves. On top of that, you know, so the mindset Deontay Wilder has to be in is kill mode in this fight. As unfortunate as that might sound or seem, he has to be in that mode. Right. And I feel like, bro, in all honesty, I just hope that Deontay Wilder, if he does knock him down or knock him out, that he don't do something to jeopardize the title. You know, because I could see Deontay Wilder actually trying to kill Tyson Fury in this fight.
Yeah. And shout out to Sadi for the super chat. But, man, let me tell you something, man. Wilder already said this man tried to kill me. I mean, he didn't say that exactly, but he tried to take me away from my family. So guess what's going to happen July 24th? What's understood don't have to be explained. So, you know, Wilder is bigger than the title. The title don't mean ish. Wilder is the title. Wilder is bigger than the title. So this, like I'm telling you guys, this victory is going to be the most significant win of all time because this is the biggest trilogy of all time. With that being said, I appreciate talking with you, my brother. I got a lot of people on the horn on the phone line, so I'm gonna get to them. All right.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Peace and blessings, AKHi.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Peace. So I'm gonna go ahead. You know, this 4-4. Oh man. Hold on. That's two people. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to make sure. I think this is the right. Yeah, well, my man. So I'm supposed to debate this person, but he never called in. So let me make sure. Let me air him out because, you know, I do want to air this person out. This is the person. This guy named Logan_Wade.NL. See, I wasn't gonna do this to you, but I have to do it to you because this man been harassing me, claiming he wanted to debate. But when it's smoke time, he's a no-show. Like I told you guys, these decafs are like their favorite fighters. They don't have any cojones. They do all this talking, and it was when it's smoke time, when I'm on live, when I've been texting him for a whole week, I went live today for him. He's a no-show. So what's understood don't got to be explained, man. But let me go ahead and get to the second caller. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
What's going on, AKHi? This is Alex from California, the biggest Canelo fan in the world. How you doing, man?
Well, I'm doing good, man. We tonight, we talking about Deontay Wilder. So, you got something in mind you want to ask, or can I dive into the next topic?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I currently don't have any right now, so as far as just bringing up any topic, I'm willing to do that. That's cool.
All right. Well, I'm gonna need your honest take. I don't want you to be biased, the way you do with Canelo, all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For sure. All right. Well, Deontay Wilder, he came out and said to Barbershop Conversation that he believes Dillian Whyte is gay. He said, man, he obsessed with me. He gay, and he said he don't keep the same energy when we in the same room. One time we ran across each other, and I was in a room. He knew I was there. I didn't know he was there, but he knew I was there. So he just completely ignored me and pretended that he didn't know. So he was just like that. Dillian Whyte is pretty much he a top of fighter that fakes it till he makes it. So what's your thoughts on what Deontay Wilder had to say about Dillian Whyte? Because Wilder stated that Dillian Whyte had his opportunity to fight me and passed on it, but he stayed talking about me. What's your thoughts on that?
I just feel like that's fake energy. When you know someone's there and you know you wanted to fight him, it's best to just, confront him and talk about it and not act like he's not there, It just looks bad on his part, especially if you're a fighter. Like, you should always be not, like, rude, but you should be a little bit more confrontational, especially if you want to fight someone,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a little bit weird from doing that part, but yeah, it's not a good look.
That's for sure. You saw my man Andre. He pulled up on your boy Canelo. He wasn't wanted, but he still he let himself be known, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And that's how you make it known that you really want the fight. You can't come to America and you see the baddest man on the planet, the champion that's from America. You in the same, I don't know if it's hotel or whatever, and he's right there, and you just walk by him. So like that. That's what Wilder meant by fake energy. So at the end of the day, Whyte needs to fight Ortiz. I know Luis Ortiz wants to fight Ruiz, but I don't think Ruiz is interested in that fight because Luis Ortiz have been calling out Andy Ruiz for a hot minute right now. And Ruiz, he has other plans. I heard he's still calling out Anthony Joshua trilogy. That's not going to happen anytime soon, the way he was looking. So if Dillian Whyte really wants the Deontay Wilder fight, the quickest way he could get it right now is fight Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz is still the boogeyman. I don't want to hear Dillian Whyte complain about Luis Ortiz's age, claiming that he's 40 years old, because the last guy he fought was 40 years old, Povetkin. And we all saw what happened the first fight. He put Dillian Whyte to sleep, right? So at the end of the day, if Whyte,
right.
if he want to, at the end of the day, Luis Ortiz is still a hot ticket. He's still the boogeyman. Nobody want to fight him. So how do you make a statement, especially in America? You beat the boogeyman if you want to fight Deontay Wilder, because Deontay Wilder got bigger fish to fry. He got the most significant fight in the history of the sport with trilogy with Tyson Fury right now. He also has an Anthony Joshua fight that beat Dillian Whyte. So, at the end of the day, Dillian Whyte is like a waste of time for Deontay Wilder right now. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like the only reason why Dillian Whyte is really pushing for that Wilder fight is because I believe he's really high in the WBC ranking. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's the interim champion after he beat Povetkin in the rematch. So that's why he's really pushing for that Wilder fight. And I really feel like the ultimate goal for Whyte is to get a rematch against Joshua, because I feel like most heavyweights understand that Joshua is the biggest target because he has 3 of the main belts. So that's really what I think his purpose is as far as fighting Wilder.
Well, he has supposedly passed on an
Getting back that
opportunity.
WBC.
Yeah, well, he has supposedly passed on an opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua again over there in the UK because he said he wanted more money to fight Anthony Joshua in the rematch. So Anthony Joshua ended up coming to the US in order to fight Big Baby Miller, who got tested positive for steroids at the time. So I think Dillian Whyte, yeah, obviously he is high on the rankings under the WBC. He could have fought Deontay Wilder when Wilder fought Brazil. I think he was a free agent at the time. Deontay Wilder told Dillian Whyte that all you got to do is just do a one-off with Al Heyman, and you get the fight with me. The second option is fight Luis Ortiz. You will automatically get the fight with me if you win that fight. So the third option was he told Eddie Hearn, if you guarantee that if I knock out Dillian Whyte, I get Anthony Joshua next, I will fight both of them in the UK. And Eddie Hearn turned that down as well. So, like I said, what's his name? Dillian Whyte had his opportunities to fight, Deontay Wilder, but he did not take them. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, right now, the best thing he could do is wait. But that's a fight I really want to see, though, because of the back and forth and the static between the two. It's like they hate each other. Genuinely, they hate each other. So I would love to see that fight. But I do believe that stylistically, that's a wrong fight for Dillian Whyte because all it takes is one from Deontay Wilder to get him out of there. We seen if Povetkin could put Dillian Whyte to sleep the way he did. Imagine what Deontay Wilder will do. If Anthony Joshua could hurt Dillian Whyte, you could just imagine what Deontay Wilder will do. So how do you see that fight playing out?
Yeah, it's all done for Dillian Whyte. You actually seen it really good. I just feel like Wilder has too much power. I question Dillian Whyte's chin, and how much damage he could withstand. But I agree 100%. I feel like Wilder will knock him out, definitely. He'll put up a good fight, though, but it wouldn't be good enough.
I'm going to tell you what's going to be. I'm telling you, while I believe Deontay Wilder ring walk to the ring, his ring entrance will be longer than the fight against Dillian Whyte, because Dillian Whyte, he really wants to put his hands on Wilder, I'm assuming. So if he goes at Wilder, that will be his doom because you really need excellent defense to stay away from Deontay Wilder. If you try to, go at him head on, a lot of fighters going to receive the same fate Brazil had, which is early night KO. But with that being said, man, I would love to see the fight.
I disagree.
Huh?
Was that?
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me know what you disagree with.
Yeah, and I just I also wanted to make one point before I go. I disagree. I feel like if you confront and fight Wilder head on and fight him in the inside, I feel like he'll knock him out. That's why I really do believe Tyson Fury will knock him out in the trilogy. If Tyson Fury stays true to his word and maintains 300 pounds, it's going to be worse than the second fight. So you can see in the second fight how Fury was fighting him in the inside, just going in, just going.
So you don't think Tyson
when Fury was fighting from the outside in the first fight, he was, he wasn't doing too much. But in the second fight, when he realized he could just go up and just fight him and use all his weight, that's really going to be the
you don't think
side effect. But that's all I had to say.
You don't think Tyson Fury cheated in the rematch?
Do I think he cheated in the rematch? Okay, I don't know for sure. I do not have the answers, but I will admit it does look a little suspicious regarding the gloves.
Man, you gave me a vague answer, man. It's either yes or no. Why are you like in between? Like what makes you in between?
So repeat the question. Do I think he cheated?
Yeah, I mean it's either yes or no. You think he cheated or you don't think he cheated. It's either one of the two.
Okay, do I think he cheated? No, I don't think he cheated. No, I don't.
So when you you saw Tyson Fury gloves, right? You saw Tyson Fury gloves, didn't you?
Yes.
So
yes, I did. Yes.
wouldn't you agree that the glove looked clearly tampered with, where you could see Tyson Fury knuckles printed on the right
No.
glove? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah. No, as I mentioned, I do admit it does look a little suspicious, but it just I don't know, man. Just I don't have a proof, so I can't deny, I can't accuse him of something that's not really proven until there's more evidence. Well, actually, there is evidence, but I don't know. I can't. That's a big statement for me to say. I'm just basing it off what he came with during the fight, as far as his weight and his game plan.
Right. I understand. Now, if let me give you an analogy. If your girlfriend, if she cheats on you and you got footage, you saw footage that she cheated on you, and you were like, nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe she cheated on me. Even though you saw her cheat on you, would you believe she cheated on you, or are you gonna say, I don't believe that she cheated on me? I need her to confirm it.
No, what happens if she's wearing a hoodie and I don't know if that was her or not? That's my point.
So is Tyson Fury wearing a hoodie? Man. Is Tyson Fury wearing a hoodie? Is Tyson Fury wearing a hoodie? Because he cut off the camera in the dressing room during the fight. We can see him.
You gotta prove. Look. Was the commission there when they were putting on the gloves?
Well, let me ask you this. Let me go back to, we could get into that. But the question is, if you see your girlfriend, you clearly see her cheating on you on videotape, are you going to call your girl out for cheating on you? Or are you going to say, nah, I trust you. I believe your words more than I believe my eyes. Do you believe her words more than you believe your eyes when you saw the footage?
First off, it's not her words, it's a video. And second, it's not a black and white answer, because there's also a catch-22. How do you know if that video was an order, it was passed before you were, you were going out with her?
I'm giving you just a simple analogy. I'm just saying, if you saw, you the type of dude, so you the type of dude, hold on. So you the type of dude, your girl be cheating on you all the time. I could tell you the type of dude, your girl cheat on you with the whole gang. You don't even know, man. Don't let these girls play you like that, bro. Don't be a simp out here, man. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real, man. You the type of dude, man. You let your girl, she hitting the whole gang, and you over here defending her. Your homeboy telling her, hey, you the type of dude, your homeboy telling you, man, I hit your girl. You like, nah, man, she loyal. That's the type of dude you are?
Nah, come on, man. Nah, I know what you mean. I was fucking with you, but nah. Now you right. I'll be like, nah, she for the team. Nah, I wouldn't fuck with her. Like, I wouldn't trust her no more. She's cheating.
So why you trust Tyson Fury after you see them gloves look like that?
But man, I guess you're right. I guess you're right. You're right. I never really thought about it like that. I feel like I needed more solid evidence. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you need more solid,
I don't know, man.
Well, my brother, let me tell you this: if you need more solid evidence than your eyes, may God be with you. Because I mean, I can't provide you more solid evidence than your eyes, your own vision, right? I mean, and just to answer your question, because I don't want to leave you without answering everything you brought to the table. You said, well, the commission was there. Was the commission there? First of all, they did cut off the camera in the dressing room. So that's already suspicious enough. Also, we already know what time it is with the commission. Margarito cheated. Other fighters cheated in the past, including Foster. Foster last year, after the Deontay Wilder incident, I know this fighter, and I know the people personally. I don't know the fighter. I haven't never talked to him, in person, but I do talk to him on Instagram. And he put out a tweet that his trainer, Bobby Benton, busted his opponent tampering with his gloves after the commission approved the gloves. So the commission actually approved the gloves. And during the fight, fight night, it was the trainer, Bobby Benton Foster trainer, Bobby Benton. He was the one that actually busted his opponent, Roman, trying to get away with tampered gloves that were approved by the commission. So you really can't you really can't trust the commission. Like Teddy Atlas said on Joe Rogan Experience, In the sport of boxing, there are loopholes in the system that fighters could get away with when it comes to taking steroids, when it comes to tampering with gloves, you name it. You know, so at the end of the day, you could get away with anything. It's up to the fighters to make sure they on an even playing field. They try to do Floyd Mayweather like that too against Maidana. So it don't matter how big you are, you really got to be careful. This is a dangerous sport. But man, great talking with you. Let me go ahead and pick up other callers because I really got a lot of people on the horn.
Yeah, no, all right. I got you. All right. I'll keep taking it.
Appreciate it, man. Hey, call again next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, peace. All right. So I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. Go ahead, click on that like button. I mean, it don't cost a penny. All it is, I mean, it's love. You know, you either a hater or a lover. So don't hate, appreciate. So go ahead and hit that like button. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
Hey, what's up, AKHi? It's Kieran from Albany, New York.
Oh, my man, finally. My man, what's going on with you?
Man, everything's good. But to live another day.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
man. I've been urging to call back again and just have this chat about Wilder, man, because you know I was thinking for like a second Fury was gonna duck his ass because you know he's gonna run for his life, but now it's like you know with that arbitration gone through, it's like Fury's life is pretty much already dead anyway. So I'm just happy that Wilder got his just due, but I think Wilder is going to be a man of his word, and he's going to put Fury out on a stretcher or put him in a coffin, man, because I really hope Wilder obliterates him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, people can't, you know, say, oh, why are you saying certain things about this man or that man? Listen, at the end of the day, this is a dangerous sport where Tyson Fury tried to take this man's life away from him. I mean, Deontay Wilder got into the sport. I remember I had a debate with this, you know, a decaf calling in from the UK that came and told me, oh, why are you hating on Tyson Fury? He came from Channel 5, you know, he came from the bottom. And I'm like, really? You think that's the bottom? You know, that's Draco type of bottom because Deontay Wilder was 21 years old. He never fought on Channel 5, none of that. He was working at a regular job, 9 to 5. Deontay Wilder had a daughter and she was sick. So he had to provide for his family. How did he do so? He got into the sport of boxing. So when he got into the sport, Deontay Wilder, you know, he got into the sport mainly to feed his daughter at 21 years old. And normally that's too late for a fighter. And Deontay Wilder in like 13, 15 fights, he medaled in the Olympics and then turned pro to become one of the best heavyweights of all time, defended his title 10 times. And it took a fighter like Tyson Fury to cheat in order to beat this man, where Tyson Fury put Deontay Wilder life on the line. So, yeah, there is no sympathy for Tyson Fury. Like Deontay Wilder said, this man came to, you know, to take to take me away from my family. So guess what's going to happen? Retaliation. You could expect the same. So he could you know gain weight, become 300 pounds to bully Deontay Wilder, to use dirty tactics. But guess what? Your chin's still the same. All it takes is one bomb squad from Deontay Wilder. So as long as Wilder has the right game plan, I don't got no doubt in my mind that Deontay Wilder is going to defeat Tyson Fury. Let's see Tyson Fury replicate what he did in the rematch. Let's see him just wash Deontay Wilder from round 1 to round whatever. Because, you know, Holyfield have came out. I don't know if you heard about this. Holyfield said that Deontay Wilder did not look the same in the rematch. Something was definitely wrong. He said that I never seen Deontay Wilder like that. I never seen him perform that bad. I never seen anybody perform that bad. Like it started here and it just went downhill. Excuse me. It went downhill. Wilder never made, he was just getting hit with everything. Small punches, big punches. everything Tyson Fury was throwing, he was landed. Like, it was like Deontay Wilder was really drunk. When Wilder said he felt like a zombie in there, that's exactly how he looked. So it was clearly something wrong. We can't prove things that we don't have evidence for, but I could definitely prove Tyson Fury cheated with his right glove, because that glove looked clearly tampered with, where we could see the knuckles printed on the right glove. So what's your take on Holyfield comments?
I am very, very happy and proud that Evander Holyfield had said that, because I think if that type of cheating were to exist at any point of history before then, and that was still to be accepted, then, you know, the sport of boxing probably would never exist anymore. Because, you know, like I said from the last show, if Deontay Wilder got murdered from Tyson Fury in the rematch, and that was to be exposed, that seriously would have been major prosecutions, and you would have been seeing a lot of bad blood being spilled over that. And, you know, I don't understand why a person like Fury comes out of his way to do that. I think there's something psychologically broken with him, and he has no humanity in his soul. But, you know, for a guy like Evander Holyfield to support Deontay Wilder and to actually open his eyes and look to the truth, I definitely stand by that, because, you know, that's what true legends of the sport should be doing, to stand up for fighters that, you know, care about the justice of all fairness, you know, not just in sports, but just in life.
Yeah, I agree 1000%. And shout out to Tapia. He said Deontay Wilder trying to catch a body, homicide. Yeah, that's exactly what Wilder's gonna try, attempt to do, because that's what Tyson Fury attempted to do to him illegally, by cheating in a criminal act. So at the end of the day, that was in the rematch, that was illegal homicide done by Tyson Fury. In the trilogy, it will be legal homicide. But like you talked about, that will have definitely put a black eye in the sport of boxing, because obviously Deontay Wilder got the complexion for the neglection. Tyson Fury got the complexion for the protection. So, that's why old media is defending him blind, because their emotion is blocking their vision from seeing the truth. They rather live in denial because they're trying to hold on to this win at all costs. But at the end of the day, if you have, we all humans at the end of the day. So if you're going to really just defend Tyson Fury just because you like him, that tells the truth is none of these people really like Tyson Fury. Like I always say, these people are not Tyson Fury fans. They are Deontay Wilder haters, because they sure wasn't Tyson Fury fans yesterday. They became Tyson Fury fans today. Where was the Tyson Fury fans when he fought Wilder and he only sold 3,000 tickets? Where was the Tyson Fury fans when he fought Tom Schwartz and sold 5,000 tickets? And that's after they gave out tickets, right? Where was Tyson Fury fans when he fought Wilder the first time? They didn't believe in him. But it was until Tyson Fury beat this fighter on the coincidental list. Now it's like, oh man, it's, now it's all joy. Now it's like, Tyson Fury. But they hate technical fighters. They hate skillful fighters. But when Tyson Fury is being skillful, when he's supposedly, quote, boring, they never point that out. They just talk about his skill. And then when Deontay Wilder delivers exactly what old media been asking for, which is knockouts, ever since the Floyd Mayweather era, ever since he moved up to the 5th weight division, they've been complaining about Deontay Wilder not knocking, Floyd Mayweather not knocking people out when he moved to his 5th weight division. They ignore the fact that Floyd Mayweather moved to his 5th weight division. And then Deontay Wilder exploded on the scene. He knocked every soul out of their body. He giving us vicious knockouts. But then they start complaining, oh, well, he not technical. It looks ugly. With 13 fights, Wilder medaled in the Olympics. So he had to have some skills. I mean, damn, right? But they said Wilder is not technical enough. But with Floyd Mayweather, they said he's too technical. You can't have it both ways, but we already know what time it is. Wilder, do or don't. He damn do or don't. Tyson Fury, do or don't, he will be praised. With that being said, any last thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, to hell with Tyson Fury. Long live Deontay Wilder. Bomb Squad all day, and long live the true warriors of boxing. Black American fighters all day, baby. USA all day. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. USA all day, every day. Appreciate you. Hey, call back next week when we talk about Lomachenko fighting and Gervonta. So call back next week. All right.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, también. I'll see you.
All right, see you. That's my brother right here. We're gonna pick up another call. How you doing, Aki? Who this is and where are you calling from? Where are you calling from?
It's Kevin from Detroit.
Kevin, what's going on, man? So you got something in mind, or should I dive into the next topic?
I mean, you can dive into the next topic. I wanted to say something about the Wilder situation right quick.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
First, I want to thank you for putting info out there. You really be putting it on their heads with this info, letting the truth be out there about the dirty Tyson Fury. I was a Tyson Fury fan. Like, he beat Klitschko. I was happy. I thought Klitschko. I hated Klitschko. He was the most boring heavyweight champion ever. That fight with Klitschko was the worst heavyweight fight I've ever seen in my life. But I'm a Tyson Fury fan.
Yeah, but hey, they didn't call him boring though.
He started the front gym. I was a fan of Tyson Fury, but
but let me say this.
They did Deontay Wilder so wrong in that second fight. I just hope he got it. He just saved that fight. He can get that loss taken off his record because he ain't deserve to lose like that.
Well, guess what? If they erase Lomachenko loss just for being on the hope list, just because he have hope insurance that covers everything, they should erase Deontay Wilder loss, knowing that Tyson Fury cheated. That should be a DQ, whatever you want to call it.
But see, they didn't. ESPN, they didn't erase Lomachenko loss. ESPN just put it on the graph on the damn.
And that's what I mean.
Graphic that he didn't have any loss, but even though because they knew people watching it casuals when they go listen on boxing to see his record.
So that's exactly what I'm talking about. They fool the casual fans to believe in Lomachenko is undefeated. I mean, man, I had debates with people.
Right, but that's so type of staging this ESPN is on, and this fight was on an ESPN pay-per-view, and they allowed Tyson Fury to cheat. This is another top-ranked fight, and where cheating has happened. Like first, when you spoke about the Resto, and then the Margarito, and then now Wilder. These are 3 top-ranked pay-per-views where these motherfuckers that cheating went down, man. Where it's smoke is fire, man.
Man, and then the whole genre is on fire.
It ain't even the gloves. Forget the gloves, man. They drug Wilder. It was pretty obvious. Even after the fight, Robert Garcia's conference was like something wrong with Wilder. Terence Crawford was getting interviewed by the Radio Rock, and he was saying he had no snap with his punches. He talking about the second round.
Yeah, right. Let me tell
you
something.
What I'm saying? So it's like
that's great points you bringing up. I just want to say something.
Wilder could barely fucking stand. He could barely fucking walk.
Yeah, my man. Like, I can't hear you clearly.
Fury couldn't come close to knocking him out.
Yo, my man. You're breaking up.
But White Bully threw in his towel. That was Robert's best round of the damn fight. He was like, "Why didn't you throw the towel in round 5?"
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Hey, my man, can you hear me?
Yeah,
hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah, well, for some reason you're breaking up. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, but I was saying that.
Yeah, hold on.
You know, Wilder was doing good in the last round.
Make sure your service is good. You know, if you could get somewhere with a better service, make sure you get there because you're making a lot of great points. So I want your sentence to be clear because they breaking up a little bit. So just want to.
Hold on, you hear me now?
Say it again.
Hold on. Yeah, like I said, Wilder was doing better in the round that they threw in the towel.
That's better.
Yeah, he was doing better in the round they threw in the towel. And then it was like, why did they throw in the towel earlier when he was looking like he was discombobulated? Like he didn't it didn't look like Holyfield said, you ain't never seen a boxing match look like that.
Man,
Fury was tripping him like this. One of the knockdowns wasn't even a knockdown. He tripped him, and that weak ass body shot. He really just pushed him, and he just fell over. Like, this shit was the most bizarre shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, my man said why fighters don't want to fight the best, because you know they're afraid to lose. I don't think they more so afraid to lose to fight, but they're afraid to lose, my man. So appreciate the super chat though, Tapia. But yeah, I mean, you brought up Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia even said that something clearly was wrong with Deontay Wilder, where you could clearly see him. He was looking like he was, you know, drunk during that fight, you know. And Tyson Fury even had to trip him to knock him out or to knock him down. Excuse me. So imagine that. Tyson Fury is so pillow-fisted, even with tampered gloves, Tyson Fury still has to trip Deontay Wilder to knock him down. They always talk about Deontay Wilder is got this horrible footwork, this and that, and the third and all that. But Tyson Fury with tampered gloves, while Deontay Wilder is on something, this man still got to trip him to knock him down. That's how pillow-fisted he is. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, a lot of people keep saying, you know, if you don't want to believe your eyes, at least believe a witness. At least do that. I mean, a witness had mentioned Nicholas Asbury, Tyson Fury's sparring partner. Tyson Fury, this is the exact same thing he did in sparring to him. He had gloves just like that because he was practicing his sparring in order to execute fight night. And we already know what time it is. And that's why Robert Garcia said what he had to say. But let me tell you this. I want to bring up this topic to you. Deontay Wilder said that Shakur did an excellent job. He wasn't boring. And then obviously Shakur responded to Timothy Bradley. He said, I was top 10 pound for pound a couple fights ago, according to you. But today I'm so boring. Laughing emoji. So what's your thoughts on Shakur Stevenson comments? Because, you know, Deontay Wilder said he did what he was supposed to do, but old media keep trashing Shakur Stevenson for his performance. But like you said, when Tyson Fury fought Klitschko, nobody called out Tyson Fury for having a boring performance.
I mean, the Shakur fight wasn't boring. I mean, he knocked the guy down in the fourth round. He was fighting the big guy with a long reach, and he had power. Like, his cast, like, and Tim Bradley know better. He just thinking he got a tough. I don't know what his problem is. He working at their commentator's job. But, you know, Tim Bradley know better. But he fell for the same thing when he fought that Russian. He did sitting there going Rocky Balboa against him, and he couldn't talk straight for 2 years or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Trying to be entertaining.
And because he's trying to please
the
fans.
The courts need to not listen to none of that shit and just keep doing them, because it's like he got the goods. He's the sharpest. He's the sharpest out of all the new crop of fighters to me, as far as being a complete fighter. Like, he looked the most professional to me.
Yeah, I mean,
even over Teofimo. I know he get beat Lomachenko and stuff, but that's the best win out of all of them. But Shakur looked the sharpest to me, where he kind of reminded me of a Terrence Crawford. Like, I can see Terrence Crawford is rubbing off on him, but he's like more defensively responsible than Crawford is.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to make him really good.
And you know, the most defensive fighters in the sport of boxing are usually the best. Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, and Roy Jones in his prime. So at the end of the day, Shakur just got to, as long as you win and win impressively, that's all that counts. Don't pay attention to the critics, because when you're a fighter on the coincidental list, you're damn if you do, damn if you don't. I mean, you see Deontay Wilder, like he said, when he gets knockouts, they complain about he's not technical enough. But when Shakur is technical...
See, this is the problem with mainstream media. This is the problem with ESPN as a network. Is a complete joke.
Yeah, but when Shakur...
Like, you look at ESPN in the 90s and 80s and how they used to cover sports, and look at it today, it's not even sports journalism anymore. This is like some fucking Jerry Springer type of entertainment.
Race journalism. That's what it is. Because, like I said, Deontay Wilder,
it's no integrity in it. There's nothing. It's nothing. You can't even take him serious.
Yeah, when Wilder fought, like I said, he pointed out. He said, "Look, Shakur. At the end of the day, when I get knockouts, they say I'm not technical. When you technical, they say you too technical. I mean, it's like it's that Floyd Mayweather effect. You damn if you do, damn if you don't. They don't care how
Right,
good
but
you
they're all
look.
going out of they're all going out of business. It's only going to be Al Heyman after this all the chips lay down, because they did the same thing HBO did when HBO had Mayweather. They just talked shit about Mayweather. They didn't promote Mayweather. Shitted on Mayweather, this is the biggest star in boxing. It's like, what, are you fucking retarded? Now that ESPN doing the same thing. They had Terrence Bud Crawford. They treated him like he was a goddamn fucking sparring partner or some shit. And they putting all this marketing and hype in Lomachenko, who couldn't get no viewership, can't steal tickets. He's never been as raw. They did all lying about his record. They tried everything to make him a star, but it just he can't do it. He couldn't keep winning.
Yeah.
So the whole point was, you got a guy that's a proven winner that's knocking motherfuckers out. He knocked out every guy at welterweight if he's been at welterweight. And you giving him zero promotion, zero. You're trying to say Lomachenko is number one over him, all that other crap, whatever. You got another guy, Shakur Stevens. He's the next guy up. And instead of ranting and raving about how all the talent he has, you want to criticize him and basically say, hey, this guy ain't shit. So why would anybody tune in to watch before Stevenson the next fight if you're dogging him? You're supposed to be promoting him. You're supposed to be promoting the sport. You're supposed to be educating the audience on what's going on in the ring. You're supposed to be explaining the nuances of the sport so they can understand what's going on, so they can enjoy boxing. It's like, shit. They don't know what they're doing, man. They all need to get fired. Or I don't even know why they even cover boxing, because they hate the sport. The boxing media hates boxing. It's like, do you guys even like boxing? All you do is talk negatively about it. Every fighter is trash. Every fighter is ducking. Every fighter is overrated. Every fight, like Mayweather, to beat more world champions than anybody in boxing history. He didn't been hit less than any boxer in boxing history. He didn't landed more punches at a higher percentage than any boxer in boxing history. And they trying to tell me the guys is overrated. It's like, he's overrated. The whole sport's trash. If Mayweather's trash, the whole sport's trash. That's basically what he's trying to tell me. So it's like, what is going on? Like, do you guys even like boxing? Like, they put themselves out of business. So that's how I feel about that. As far as the whole boring.
Well, that's
whatever.
It is. Well, that's what it is, man. I'm gonna tell you the secret of the recipe. The secret of the recipe of old media, that their hidden agenda that people don't know about. They seen their favorite fighters lose to the fighters they hate the most, the coincidentalist fighters. It's not a coincidence. They see their favorite fighters lose. Every single time they went up against these coincidentalist fighters. So they figured over time, today they realized, man, the best way is to separate the sport through networks, through promoters, through belts. That way we could have our favorite fighters avoid the fighters on the coincidental list. That way our favorite fighters don't lose to them, and we could trash them for not fighting anybody because we're not going to give them the opportunity. And at the same time, whenever they fight, we're going to trash them. Like you see with Shakur Stevenson, they put him on the same day. ESPN had the heaviest UFC pay-per-view fight with Israel and Nate Diaz on the undercard, action-packed fights. But why did they do that? Because they want to point out, but look at the UFC. It's so entertaining. Boxing is boring. That's why nobody tuning in. This and that and the third. Like you said, are you over here to promote boxing or to shit on boxing? Excuse my language. Because when Floyd Mayweather was fighting, they said he was too technical. He don't get enough knockouts, even though when he moved up to the welterweight division, that was his fourth weight division. When Floyd Mayweather was at 130.
And he was over 30, man. It's like,
over 30.
People understand when you go moving up your weight, it's hard to do.
Let me just finish this point. Yeah, let me just finish this point real quick. Because at 130, he was a knockout puncher, right? But again, when Deontay Wilder fights, he gets nothing but devastating knockouts. They say he's not technical. When Floyd is technical, they say he's not technical enough. So we know when you're a fighter on the coincidental list, you damn if you do, damn if you don't. Because the fighters on the coincidental list don't have the complexion for the protection. They have the complexion for the neglection. That's why they shit on them all day, every day, instead of promoting them. So, and that's what the sport came down to,
Right, but that's just to their own detriment, because it's only so long you can take these ridiculous stances and not look foolish. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's only so long you can pretend like Tyson Fury is not a cheater or this guy isn't. You know, I'm hoping Wilder go out there and kill him for real, like people have been talking about. Because I mean, that'd be entertainment for me. I'd be like, man, if Brawler put Tyson Fury in a permanent dirt that he'd go down the GOAT to me. Yeah. And couldn't nobody tell me otherwise. Because I'm like, man, I watched a live execution.
Live execution. Well, Deontay Wilder, he said he been looking for a body, so I'm pretty sure he go go in there for the kill because of what Tyson Fury did to him. So it's going to be an entertaining fight. I mean, one for the ages, must see TV. You cannot miss it. So enjoy talking with you, my brother. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to the next caller. All right.
All right, take it easy.
All right, peace. How you doing, AKHi? Who this is and where you calling from?
This is Kenny Dwayne. I'm calling from Austin, Texas.
Oh, how you doing, Kenny? Let me read the super chat real quick. My man said the Jean versus Fury fight was the nail in the coffin for me. That Fury is a certified cheater. They saw him. They saw he switched the glove, but still fought. Yeah, that was a fight where in the first fight it was very competitive. People thought that he had beat Tyson Fury, and then in the rematch, Tyson Fury stopped him. And we saw what happened. He switched the gloves last minute, and he paid, I guess, his opponent $5,000 to do so. And you never know. I mean, them gloves could have been tampered with because he did get the knockout against his opponent. So that definitely looked fishy. Like I said, with Tyson Fury, it's a pattern. It's not like this man never cheated before. He took steroids in the past. We seen him before the Klitschko fight. He had to switch his glove to adjust his glove. Excuse me. He had to adjust his glove before the bell rang. I mean, we never seen that in history where a fighter takes off his glove and puts it back on right before the fight in the freaking ring. We see and it's not a coincidence that when he fought Deontay Wilder, we see his fist in the freaking palm area the first time he fought. So I mean, like I said, that's why he had to up the scale when it came to cheating in the rematch, because he knew that wasn't enough in the first fight. In the 12th round, he still got dropped. So he realized, I really got to take this man out of there before he takes me out. So anyways, my brother, how you doing? And what do you have in mind?
Yeah. I know you wanted to. I know you had several topics to talk about today, and I know everybody's stuck on the Fury and the Wilder trilogy, and I have been absorbed in this topic. I haven't been doing nothing. I've been patiently waiting for this day, and I have followed you and Dante's Boxing Nation with just endless information. I appreciate y'all for the information and the hard work that y'all putting in on making these videos, but there is nothing more. I'm not interested in anything more than this Deontay Wilder versus Fury trilogy. And I wanted to say that, Deontay Wilder, I was checking the Vegas numbers, the odds, and, it's favored that Tyson Fury is going to win, just according to the Vegas numbers. And I'm not saying I agree with that. I disagree.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, that's absolutely good.
I'm put money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm glad. I hope they,
I
hope he a 20-1 underdog. I really hope.
Yeah, absolutely. But, and I've been thinking about this, fight all different types of ways. And I thought it would be like really cool if Deontay Wilder wore his same costume that he wore in the second fight.
Yeah. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you still there? Yeah. I'm
yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. We hear you clear.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So no, I was saying that I think wouldn't it be crazy if Deontay Wilder wore his same costume that he wore in the second fight?
Yeah, man. I mean, it could be. I mean, I think he just need to come out with, just go in the ring, just go for the kill. I mean, I don't think Deontay Wilder will have all these tactics to prove something. as long as he get the knockout, that's all it, that's everything he needs to prove, is that this man Tyson Fury cannot replicate what he did in the rematch. Because if Wilder wanted to really prove a point during the press conference, he would have had the iPad and zoomed into the gloves and said, look, during the press conference, you never see no gloves like this, and he would have made his point, right? But the fact that Wilder's, he zoned out Tyson Fury, completely ignored him, to avoid all the silly back and forth, because he knows Tyson Fury is not going to say anything that's meaningful. Everything he says is just word of mouth. Is nothing that comes from the heart. He's just talking trash. So Wilder just completely blocked him, and he wanted his hands to do the talking. So seeing the approach Wilder is taking, Wilder is not here to prove Tyson Fury cheated. He already did all of that. If Deontay Wilder really wanted to prove Tyson Fury had cheated, he would have took him to court. He would have did this and that, the third. But Wilder want to get his revenge with blood. He want to get his revenge with blood with his own hand, which is why this fight is so significant. That's why I keep saying this is the most significant fight of the history of the sport. This is the biggest trilogy of the history of the sport because of what's on the line. Tyson Fury reputation is on the line. Deontay Wilder reputation is on the line. So when
absolutely.
So no one, both are in a lose-lose situation. If Tyson Fury wins, he semi-justified cheating in the rematch because he's gonna be like, oh well, I did it again. I knocked out Wilder. If Wilder knocks Tyson Fury out, we already know what time it is. Tyson Fury couldn't beat Deontay Wilder without cheating. So, and that's exactly my point. Wilder, I think he has a point to prove. His point to prove is get his revenge because, like he said, that's the sweetest thing next to getting mushy.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, the ticket prices though, the ticket prices. I had looked at the ticket prices for the ringside. They're starting at like 15,000.
Well, it's gonna be. I'm telling you, man. They know. They kept saying that the fight is not big. It was all lies. They knew the glove gate was selling the fight. They knew that the trilogy, in all reality, was bigger than AJ versus Fury because this fight is so significant. The drama is outside of this world, like we never seen before. So it's so much happening. It's so much going on. And the fact that Tyson Fury, just think about it. The fact that Tyson Fury wanted to fight Deontay Wilder in the court of law to escape his rematch clause that he was bonded to by law. Tyson Fury paid millions of dollars to his lawyers to avoid the trilogy, knowing that he had agreed to fight Deontay Wilder a third time. He signed for it. Wilder activated his rematch clause the week after the rematch. And Tyson Fury knew that. They kept stalling. Tyson Fury kept saying that I won't fight without a crowd. And then he want to claim the rematch clause expired when he the one that postponed the fight every single time. So the fact that Tyson Fury, he tried to fight Deontay Wilder in the court of law and do whatever it takes to escape the trilogy, that tells the whole story. This man is shook. He's afraid to look at Deontay Wilder without some, uneven playing field taking place because he knows what he did in the rematch. The fact that he wanted to run away from the trilogy when he could have made all this money, he could have fought Deontay Wilder a year ago. We could have had this rematch by now. We should be talking about the next, dancing at hand. We should be talking about the next fight at hand. We still talking about the trilogy 18 months later that haven't took place. Why is that? Because Tyson Fury was trying to escape the trilogy at all costs. He paid millions to escape this fight. Tyson Fury said to the judge, I will never, ever fight Deontay Wilder again. The judge told him, it ain't your decision, buddy. You know what I'm saying? This ain't old media. Your complexion for the protection is not going to do you any justice here. So Tyson Fury, that alone, you know he's worried. Regardless, he does have a great poker face. I'll be the first to admit. But this man, he shook because the guilt will be haunting him going into the ring. When he steps inside of that square circle, the guilt will be haunting him. Fight night.
Absolutely. And in addition to what you were saying, I just kind of find it hard to believe that Tyson Fury will get inside this ring next month with the Bronze Bomber. And I want to say that, do you think that he might try to pull a get out of jail free card, such as COVID or something like that?
Well, man, let me
do you think that he's gonna, buy himself a little bit more time?
Man, let me say this, man,
because he is a cheater.
He is a cheater. We know what happened when Tyson Fury was supposed to fight Klitschko the second time. This man pulled out of the fight. He took steroids. I forgot what he did, but he did something to escape the rematch. I think he took steroids or something and then claimed depression and this and that and the third, right? He came to the press conference. He took his shirt off. He said, I got a belly. He was like, man, this is the guy that beat you. Look at this, the heavyweight champion of the world is 300 pounds. You should be embarrassing yourself. That's what he was telling Klitschko. This fight, he took a different approach. He claiming he's going up to 300 pounds because he's going straight at Wilder. I pray, I'm praying that's really what he planning to do. I'm praying because when I saw his physique coming into the press conference, that's exactly what I said to myself. Oh man, he finna pull a Klitschko number 2.0 Klitschko. He finna pull out of the fight and he could pull COVID, but that means the fight gonna get rescheduled if that's the case. But the problem with that, he is vaccinated. So the fact that Bob Arum said that both fighters are vaccinated, Tyson Fury is gonna have a hard way to get out of the fight. The only way he could get out of the fight is if he retired, because the judge has said Tyson Fury either fights Deontay Wilder or retire. So if he retires instead of fighting ever again, losing all this money that's ahead of him with Wilder and AJ, we already know what time it is. This man clearly cheated, and Wilder could sue him. He could sue him in the ring. In the court of law still. So he could go Wilder could go that route. Also, if Tyson Fury tests positive for steroids, I'm not quite sure what ends up happening there. But if Tyson Fury takes steroids, well, that just further confirms that Tyson Fury cheated the second time, because he had to cheat a third time a different kind of way, since there's a microscope on him fight night. So, man, let me tell you this. I actually had this conversation with my man Deontay, Dante's Boxing Nation. I had a conversation with him where I told him last week, I told him, man, I hope I'm wrong, because I don't want to speak it, speak a believer, receive it. I don't want to believe it. But I was just informing him, I got a bad feeling that Tyson Fury might pull out of the fight. I even said to him, I think Teofimo is going to pull out of the fight. I told that to Dante's Boxing Nation. So he was just like, man, I hope not. I hope not. He said, why you say that? I told him, man, I don't know. Teo don't look too confident to me. And we got like 4 or 5 fights on Saturday. We got Chavez Sr., we got Charlo, we got DAZN, Munguia, we got, some Triller fight with, I don't know, so many fights, right? So I'm like, I don't believe that this is going to go down for some reason. And Teo been talking a little, like he not as confident like he usually is or pretend to be. I don't know what's going on.
You're right about that.
So that's and then I was like, I don't care about that though. I was like, as long Tyson Fury get his ass in the ring, because we've been waiting on this day. To this day. You know what I'm saying? 18 months to this day. Man, you ain't running away, man. So. Man, nah, he can't get away with that, man. And my man, World Combat Sport, follow my man on Instagram. Shout out to my brother right here. He said, the magnifying glass for this fight is historical. Wilder has already shook up the masses, winning the arbitration, and now 2 times July 24. Yes, sir. So, that's what we're planning on, and hopefully Tyson Fury will come to his funeral on July 24th, because that's what it's going to turn out to be. It's really his funeral. So hopefully he does come along. Hopefully that. But I got a lot of people on the horn. Great talking with you. Any last thoughts before I
Thank you. I talking with you too. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Call in next time. All right.
All right, for sure.
For sure. All right. been here for a hot minute. Hello? How you doing, Aki? Is this someone I already talked to before?
This Aki? No,
Oh, okay.
this isn't the first time calling.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I got you. How you doing, Aki? Who this is and where are you calling from?
This is Aaron from San Diego.
Yes, sir. Well, you got a topic in mind, or should I dive into the next topic?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the Fury Wilder thing. Are you a historian of the game?
Yes, sir. I mean,
Of boxing?
yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm all with, Fury cheating. And so, you saw Margarito, you saw Madonna. When did this start happening when we have issues with the gloves? So this has started happening, in the 90s, right?
Well,
so this is what I've been promoting. What was going on? What was going on in the 50s, 60s, and 70s?
Oh.
You remember?
Yeah.
So before they would start the fight, they put the gloves on in the ring. See, this is what I'm trying to really push on boxing and talking to fans. If you don't get anything, again, I'm not in Fury's corner at all, but to squash all this, why don't they take the 5 minutes to put the gloves on in the ring?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what you look at any Ali fight or Foreman or any boxing fight in the 70s. That's what they put the gloves on. This way, Fury can't cheat at all.
Yeah. And then, with the gloves, for the people that say, oh, what about them warming up? Well, you could wear another pair of gloves over there in your dressing room, warm up, and wear another pair in the ring. You know what I'm saying? The one the one that you signed to wear, just wear it in the ring, because there's a lot of cheating going on. I mean, we saw it with Resto. I think that's his name, where he tampered with his glove and took his opponent's life away. This is a criminal act. You know what I mean? This is not a laughable manner. So this has been happening over the history.
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You're starting to see this happen over the last 2 or 3 decades. And, when you look at the old fighters of the days in the 50s and 60s with Ali, Foreman, Frazier, all, even in the early 80s, they all put the gloves on in the ring. Now you notice that all this started happening as soon as we put the gloves on in the back. And they talk about, oh, well, you had the inspectors back there. Well, you had the inspectors back there when you had Margarito and Cotto fight, right? And so Tyson Fury has 4 legitimate knockouts in his whole career. 4 legitimate. Other knockouts that they are called technical knockouts where the referee stopped it or they waved it off. At 4 real knockouts, and all of a sudden he's knocking Wilder from post to post. Give me a break. You see what I mean? But what I'm just trying to say, there's a connection there. It doesn't matter if there's inspectors back there. It doesn't matter who's back there. Because if you don't see what's going on in the glove with the padding, or somebody can put in an egg waiting stack glove really quick, I mean, all JDs has to take his eyes off those gloves for a split second, yeah. and they can stick it in there.
Yeah, of course. And
right.
And if Tyson Fury gloves look like this in the ring, that means somebody didn't do his job in the dressing room, right? Because Tyson Fury gloves shouldn't be looking like this in the ring. So the fact that Tyson Fury glove look clearly, I mean, man, this is what Deontay Wilder has said. Deontay Wilder said that he said, hold on, let me find the quote real quick. He said the evidence of Tyson Fury, tampered gloves will win in any court in the world. In the world, not just in America, in the world, that Tyson Fury was wearing, right?
Yeah.
And again, anyone with a vision can't justify Fury gloves being tampered where you can see his knuckles printed on the right gloves. We saw Tyson Fury cut off the camera in the dressing room. We saw Tyson Fury cheat in the past. We saw Tyson Fury have his glove readjusted. This man had his glove readjusted in the ring because at the time I think he had it in his palm area, and he had to get his glove readjusted in the ring, just like he had it in the first fight with Deontay Wilder. So this man is I call him the cheating king. You call him the gypsy king. I call him the cheating king.
I agree. When you got the resume and you got the history of cheating, then it kind of goes together. But what I'm just saying, for the sport of boxing, I wish they would go back to that. Put the gloves on in the ring. That way you squash all this talk for every fighter, right? I mean, every organization should go back to that. If we can, I saw the Canelo and Sanders fight. If you can take 15, 20 minutes for the ring walk and have all this stuff going on, you can take 5 minutes to put those gloves on in the ring. That's just for the good of boxing. Another thing I want to talk about is the strategy really quick.
Yeah, the safety of the fighters. The safety of the fighters, for sure.
The safety of the fighters. You see what I mean? Now you got cameras everywhere. It's a non-issue.
Yeah, and now they're cutting off the cameras. They cutting off the cameras though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So it's like, what's the point of the camera there if you're gonna go cut it? Why will Tyson Fury team need to put a towel or cut off the camera, whatever they did? Why will they need to do that if nobody's watching them? Ain't nobody minding their business but them. Them cameras are for the commission to watch the fighters. So why would you cut off the camera? It don't make no sense at all unless you're doing something suspicious.
No.
And we clearly see the gloves look tampered with in the ring. So I mean, let me also, before we go to the strategy, let me give you what Deontay Wilder has said about Clarissa Shields. He said that when it came to her MMA debut, that he said that was a big victory. That really people are not really talking about. He said that she the GOAT and she doing her thing. But he had made a comment that really got my attention, because I really agree with him that Clarissa Shields did not get her just due and her credit for making such a powerful move like that. This is not your average fighter. This is the GOAT. She made a transition from boxing to the UFC or MMA. Think about it. I mean, this is a fighter that's two-time Olympian. She got 2 gold medals. She 2-time undisputed and have 12 world titles in 3 different divisions. She went from her sport to a whole nother sport. She never campaigned that in her life. And she got a victory battling adversity. She was in the worst positions you can imagine. I mean, on mountaintop, she was on arm bar, I mean, it was just all type of, the positions where only 10% of the fighters survive. And she battled adversity and knocked out her opponent, which was so impressive just for a debut. You could see her. She was really nervous. She had all of us nervous, but the victory was so sweet. I mean, this is one of the biggest victories in the MMA, if you ask me, because the caliber of Clarissa Shields going from boxing to MMA, it was already big enough. And her winning, not in just like an easy fashion, she went up against a vet and battled adversity to win. This is so significant, just like the trilogy will be significant July 24th. But Wilder had made a comment where he said Shield should have. He said that if Clarissa Shields was getting paid more money, she wouldn't have been forced to go to the MMA or went to the MMA. He said that females should get their just due. They don't get enough credit because they're risking their life, and they should get paid, at least a little bit more money because they don't get paid enough. Do you agree with Deontay Wilder's comment that he said that Clarissa Shields, she wouldn't have made that transition or heading to the MMA if she was getting paid the money she's supposed to get paid in the sport of boxing?
I don't agree with that, and this is what I will say. Because again, I'm not being gender biased here by no means, because I love Clarissa Shields by all means. But at the end of the day, it's like, who's making more money? So this is what I play tennis, right? So I'm an ex-tennis player. So they talk about women's tennis need to make just as much money. The winners need to make just as much money as the men on the men's side. Well, who's playing the best 3 out of 5 sets? Who's bringing more money in? If you're bringing more revenue in, then you get more of the lion's share. So if Clarissa Shields can bring more money in, granted she probably could if they promote her right and the networks could be behind her, then she's due to make more money. But you just can't pay out anybody, whether it's Clarissa Shields or anybody else, money just because she's Clarissa Shields yet. You know what I mean? So it's not about gender or even race. It's about, if you can bring in the revenue, then you get more of the revenue. Well, and that's anybody. I mean, look at the difference between, Fury and Wilder compared to some flyweights. Flyweights, you don't even get no pay-per-view. I'm going to watch some flyweights down here in Tijuana. That's where I'm going to go watch them for the flyweight WBC championship of the world. You see what I mean? Because they're not bringing in the money. So the bottom line is not race, not gender. You bring in more money, you get more of that cut. And that's where I think Clarissa Shields just cut from a different cloth. I think she's down to fight MMA, boxing, whatever it is. She's just a a bad mo pro. But I don't just think because you're a female and you're doing that you should just automatically get a cut. You got to bring the people in.
Yeah, well,
I mean, look at what they did with Ronda Rousey. Now they promoted her right, so she brought people in, so she made a little bit more money.
And that's
right. But even though she was exposed at the end.
Yeah, that's what Wilder, I think, is alluding to, because he did say that she should be promoted more. And they deserve more shine.
Yeah,
especially Clarissa Shields.
And I agree.
Talent,
I agree. They don't promote blacks and females. They promote the ones they want, right? Like Tyson said the other day, he's like, no, what? Everyone in boxing now is about business. When he was coming up, he was a killer. That's the difference now. It's all about business. Even the stats and the titles are promoted differently. I mean, I have a lot of favorite fighters like Mayweather and Roy Jones where I look at their stats and I'm like, they're a little inflated, right? So, let me ask you a question. Do you think Roy Jones was ever a heavyweight champion of the world?
I mean,
do you think he was a legitimate heavyweight champion of the world?
Well,
Would he be what we?
Well, of course not. But but he fought the right opponent, because he was in a heavyweight.
Yeah, but
small.
But why was that the first time a middleweight ever became a heavyweight champion? Why was that in 100 years? Why? Because he didn't fight the undisputed, right? Roy Jones wasn't going up against Lennox Lewis. So the same thing. Sugar Ray Robinson wasn't going up against Muhammad Ali or Rocky Marciano. That's the whole reason. So they get a share of the title, and then they call themselves 6, 7, 8 times, champion. They're not fighting the undisputed. They get a share of it, and then they claim that, well, I was a heavyweight champion of the world. No, when we talk about champion, we talk about the name champion denotes one person, not champions, champion. That's the difference in today's boxing. That's why those records, historic records, were never broken ever until recently. Even with Canelo and Mayweather, it's because they're 7, Pacquiao 6, 7, 8-time champions, because they get a share of the title. They pick off the weakest person out of the 4 belts, right? And they get a share of the title, and then I can call myself the 6 or 7-time champion, right?
Yeah, I mean,
so it's all about money now. It's all about promotion.
Well,
you
got a great point.
This is why undisputed is so heavy.
Yeah, you got a great point with because Pacquiao, for example, I think they talk about he won the most titles in so many different weight divisions. But if you recall, a title, some of the titles he won at the lower weight divisions were like the IBO. Like they even count the IBO, and of course, if you win the IBO today, they don't even consider you a champion. I think my man Jaron Ennis got the IBO title, if I'm not mistaken, but they don't really consider him a champion, right? So but when Pacquiao did it, they will count it to add to his credentials. And then remember when he even fought Margarito at 154, he fought him at a catchweight at 150. And a fight right before that, or I think a fight or two before that, he got knocked out by Shane Mosley when he was attempting to cheat and got busted with tampered gloves, right? So my point is, while Manny Pacquiao had fought Margarito for a vacant belt at 150 to win a title at 154. So that's what you're talking about, in the sport of boxing. It turned to a business where there's all these belts, where the promoters, not fighters. That's why we never get the best versus the best. I had a question like that: why we never get the best versus the best in the sport of boxing? I mean, you see, like I said before, the boxing is separated through promoters. It's separated through networks now, and also through different organizations. Yeah. So you have 4 different belts. Yeah. You have different networks: ESPN, Showtime, the Zone, Triller, you name it, right? Yeah. And then you obviously got promoters: Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman. So all of this creates division, and that's why we never get the best versus the best. But in the MMA or the UFC, you just go into UFC, and Dana White is going to make it happen. That's why. But again, if I still,
see, but that's why they play teams. You see, that's why the UK they play keep away. That's why AJ they play keep away. They get the belts. They got someone they can promote. They play keep away, right?
They keep.
So the same thing when we talk about business. They Povetkin just retired, right? They called him WBA heavyweight champion for 2 years. No, he wasn't. He had a secondary belt. Vladimir Klitschko had the regular belt. So why do you keep on calling him heavyweight champion? Right, you see what I mean? It's the way they spin it.
Yeah, that's a great
See,
point. That's a great
that's
point.
how they do business.
That's how they do business. It's,
You know, I mean,
it's a
they,
spin. It's a spin. They keep the belts
yeah,
hostage. Like a lot of fighters in the UK actually win the belts and keep a hostage over there. You see, AJ been doing it for a lot of years. Never fought Deontay Wilder, and then when Tyson Fury won the title, I mean, and that's what I want to get to that topic next. Deontay Wilder told Eddie Hearn and AJ, keep the same energy y'all had for Tyson Fury when it came to making a fight, because we saw Eddie and AJ do whatever it takes to make the fight happen. So when it's time to make the fight, keep the same energy, because Wilder said they already working on mandatories and lining up mandatories so they could say, oh, well, I can't fight, but we already know a unification, especially for undisputed, trumps mandatories and you name it. So there is no excuse if AJ don't keep the same energy he had for Tyson Fury. But beside the point, as far as Clarissa Shields, I do agree with Wilder. She deserved more promotion, because we saw how Ronda Rousey blew up on the scene. She was promoted right. If you're not going to promote a fighter, a fighter only could do so much. I see Clarissa Shields, she willing to do whatever to promote herself. Shit, she even went to the MMA. Yeah. And I think she went to the MMA from a competitive standpoint, because she really the GOAT and she want to go to the MMA because she that competitive. But at the same time, she deserved more shine. If she had gotten the shine, she would have she would have became a bigger star, because I looked at her numbers. If you go to look at her weigh-ins and her fights, she does like 1 million views. Man, fighters, popular boxers don't do 1 million views on the weigh-ins and stuff like that. So she got, people want to see her fight. She just have to be promoted the right way, how she deserves to be. Because you see with Ronda Rousey, man, she had 10%, man. Matter of fact, 1% of the credentials Clarissa Shields has. Yeah. Clarissa Shields, like I said, 2-time gold medalist. You can never take that away from her. That's a huge accomplishment. 2 times undisputed. She, 12 world titles and 3 world divisions. You name it. Fighting anybody. She the boogie woman. And she not being promoted right. The Ring magazine, they put Ronda Rousey on the cover of the Ring magazine, even though Ronda Rousey never boxed a day in her life. But Clarissa Shields, who's the GOAT and went to the MMA, they never put her on the Ring magazine. And then you see ESPN remove Clarissa Shields from pound for pound number 1. You see Shakur Stevenson not being on the top 10 at 130. You see Terrence Crawford being dropped from the pound for pound number 1 slot, and ESPN replaced him with Canelo Alvarez. And even Deontay Wilder came out and said that Terrence Crawford should be the number 1 pound for pound. And he said that he really, he should have left Bob Arum a long time ago, because, you can't be loyal to a person that's not being loyal to you. You see Bob Arum always say, praise the Lomachenko. Lomachenko lost to Teofimo Lopez, and Bob Arum brought him back before he brought Terrence Crawford, that's coming off a spectacular victory against Kell Brook by a knockout. How is that? They giving Terrence Crawford a Rigondeaux treatment, where Rigondeaux beat Donaire, but they brought Donaire back before Rigondeaux. How is Terrence Crawford coming off a spectacular knockout win? No one have put out Kell Brook the way Terrence Crawford did, and they brought up Lomachenko back to ESPN before Terrence Crawford, who put up a boring fight, a boring performance, so they say, against Tia, where he threw and landed 6 punches for the first 6 rounds. And Terrence Crawford put Kell Brook out. He always does the highest ratings. But peep this, Bob Arum says, I passed on the Terrence Crawford fight. I passed on the Manny Pacquiao fight for Terrence Crawford because I don't want to lose money. I'm not in the game to lose money. We could have landed the fight before Errol Spence, but I didn't want to lose money. But when it came to Tyson Fury, he was willing to take the losses with, I think his name, Tom Schwartz and Wallen. He was willing to take the losses because Bob said, I'm going to make my money on the back end when Tyson Fury fights Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. So why couldn't Bob Arum do the same with Terrence Crawford and Pacquiao and make his money on the back end with Errol Spence? You see how they treat Terrence and you see how they treat Tyson Fury? the person who was being loyal to Top Rank and ESPN all this time. You know, they had Lomachenko over him all along. They interviewed Terrence Crawford and erased Lomachenko lost at the same time, putting him #1 pound for pound over Terrence Crawford. The topic of conversation on ESPN for the past 5 years is who's pound for pound #1. Is it Terrence Crawford or is it Lomachenko? They always argue about, oh, Crawford is like pound for pound #1A, Lomachenko pound for pound #1B, or the other way around, whatever, right? And then as soon as Lomachenko loses, some way, somehow, Canelo bypassed Terrence Crawford to the #1 slot. The man that took steroids in the past, they never took that in consideration.
Yeah.
They just want to ignore it. And they want to, the moment Canelo beat Ivini Yildirim, a fighter coming off a loss, still in Benavidez belt, they put him pound for pound #1 over Terrence Crawford. Canelo don't even fight for ESPN. You see, like, and that's what Wilder meant, man, they not loyal to you. You know, Bob, he told him, look, man, at the end of the day, you know, he making a wrong decision. You see Pacquiao left Bob Arum. You see Floyd Mayweather left Bob Arum. You see Mikey Garcia left Bob Arum. You see Oscar De La Hoya left Bob Arum. I mean, I could go on and on and on. I mean, at the end of the day, you got to take notes and peep game at what's taking place. They don't got your best interest. They don't got your best interest. You know. Well, what you say to that?
I completely agree.
Yes, sir.
Completely agree.
Yeah. Any last thoughts before I pick up another call?
Yeah, man. You know, I'm looking for. I just hope Wilder on the strategy. You know, he comes in.
Yeah,
you know, when I look at the second with the really quick with the glove issue not being going to be issue, you're going to take away #1 the jab from Fury in the first fight because he had that floppy glove. We'll give him a couple more inches on the jab, which was being a little bit effective against Wilder in the first fight. And then you're going to take away Fury's power. So those things are being negated in this trilogy. And when you see Wilder, the only thing I would just say this on Wilder ultimately is he was showing Fury way too much respect, even in the first fight. It's like if he come in there kind of like a Mike Tyson, you just walk down through. Anytime Wilder would throw the jab or throw the right hand, Fury's the one backing up. Wilder, you know, you need to put Fury on his heels, meet him in the middle of the ring, and I guarantee you, look at when Fury went down in round 7 of the first fight, and Wilder didn't even really hit him. He's throwing punches from the left to the right. Fury just got scared and almost kind of basically went down. If Wilder comes in there and presses Fury and throws that jab and puts him on the ropes, you know, he hit him with the left hook and he brought him right back into the middle, kind of like a Clubber Lang. Hit him with that left hook, right back in the middle. Wilder came back with another like right hook and a little right hand straight down the pipe. And I'm telling you, that's the way to beat Fury. Put him on his heels. Every time he comes on, Fury backs up. Anytime Wilder throws a punch. Wilder has no business. He doesn't need to be on his heels. You know what I mean? Fury is scared. He flinches. He's all over the place because he doesn't want to get hit with that right hand. And if he gets hit with that left hook or with that right hook or that right body shot, it's all over for Fury all day long. I mean, I expect this fight, it's going to be a knockout by Wilder, but I could see him knocking Fury down if he does it right 2 or 3 times before he finally gets him flush. And even in the 12th round, he didn't hit Fury completely flush. He hit him probably at the end, but he didn't extend completely into that right hand. And I'm telling you, that's how Wilder's going to have to do this because he can walk this man down and he don't need to back up at all. I think he can just go meet right in the middle of the ring and throw some combinations. He threw that right body shot, I think, in round 11 in the first fight. And Fury, he almost buckled. You know what I mean? Wilder, and I think Malik Scott got him on that. I think he has him on that point. And I think if he goes in there and does what he does, I see this ending within 5 rounds. And I think you take everything away from Fury now, no jab, no power. It's going to be a whole different night. And all old media is going to have to eat their words.
Man, you brought up a lot of great points.
And I think Fury, and I think Wilder, he should come in without the costume. I think he should come in old school, like a tribute to Tyson. He needs to come in with a cut-off towel over him. You know what I mean? Just come in. You know, what happened with fighters coming in with that nice lather? You know what I mean? You come in with that good sweat. You've been working out in the back. You come in, I'm ready to do business. And that's what he looked like at the press conference. You need to come in something like that. Forget the costume. And I think that's what Wilder even learned too. You know what? Forget everything else. I'm focused on this man. I'm going to eat, sleep, and shit boxing. And I'm going to come in here and give it to Fury all day and all night long. And I guarantee that's what's going to happen. I think if he doesn't give Fury the respect that he did in the first fight, this is going to be a short night.
Man,
I don't see Fury lasting.
Man, let me tell you, you brought up a lot of great points, and I agree with you. I think Wilder is going to do that, seeing how he's operating and moving with the press conference. He's all business. He want to let his hands do the talking. Wilder cannot back up from Tyson Fury, and what Wilder has to know that you got to use your body momentum. What I mean by that, when Tyson Fury come at you, you don't got to use your footwork and have pretty footwork and pivot and push Tyson Fury and all that. No. You didn't got to do all that. If Tyson Fury come at you, don't get away from him. Smother him, bump into him. That way, you force Tyson Fury to stop. Deontay Wilder could fight when he want to and stop the action when he want to. Whenever you're ready to fire, you get in position. You be in feint, or like feints are really important in this fight. But more so, you don't got to back up from Tyson Fury, because at the end of the day, if Tyson Fury does, come at Deontay Wilder, he could smother Tyson Fury by just stepping into him, just with a high guard, stepping into him. And that way, he's going to smother Tyson Fury. Work even in the inside by throwing some body shots and stuff, and then tie him up, right? Even if Tyson Fury tried to wrestle, it's okay. Let him do all the wrestling. Let him gas himself out. You just push him backwards, right? So that's something Wilder has to do instead of just backing down, backing up, from Tyson Fury, even if he's 300 pounds. Also, another thing, like I said, I mentioned earlier, that feints is really important. The jab to the body, the stick to the body. Wilder got to stick Tyson Fury to the body and upstairs. Something was working for him in the rematch, which is, like I said, a jab, but work off of it. Wilder could easily go to the body with the jab, and then when Tyson Fury is biting on the jab, Wilder could feint the jab to the body and come back with the right hand upstairs. If Tyson Fury is stepping back with his left hand out, stick Tyson Fury to the body with the right hand and watch him might go down with that punch or break him down or start protecting the body. So it's going to open him up for the right hand later on. Wilder could also go to the body with a jab and come back with a hook upstairs. He could work off the jab, off the stick, and work with right hands and left hooks upstairs all day or to the body. So there's a lot of things Wilder could do, even combinations, jab, go to the body with the right hand, come back with a hook upstairs. Confuse Tyson Fury, because in the first fight when he got dropped in the 7th round, like you brought up, Wilder didn't even really hit him hard. He hit him somewhere, but Tyson Fury, it was a blind shot. Tyson Fury, he was just moving his head. He's afraid to get hit because he knows all it takes is one from Deontay Wilder. So use Tyson Fury fear against him. Man, I'm telling you, this man is shook because of what he did in the first fight. So all that guilt going to be haunting him for the rematch. Any last thoughts on that?
Yeah. No, that's it, man. I'm exactly in accordance with you. But that jab is going to be the key. Anytime he threw that jab, Fury didn't want any part of it, instead of everything else. You know what I mean? And look, when Wilder threw that flurry of punches in round 7, I mean, Fury went down, and he just threw a flurry of punches. This activity alone is going to scare the man. And you gotta bring fear. This man's fear and faint.
Yeah, feints.
But
Feint's gonna have.
Great talking to you, man. I love it.
Yes, sir. But before you go, just feints, because look, this gotta be muscle memory. This ain't something Wilder gotta think about. No, this gotta be something he work on during shadow boxing and stuff, because you want to feint the man. Tyson Fury is so fidgety, like everything you do, he reacts to it. So because he has to, he can't take a gamble and not react to something Deontay Wilder does. So use your advantages against him. Wilder, what he could do is just use his feints and have Tyson Fury bite on the feints and read his body movement. What is he doing? What he's open for? What is his strategy? What is his defense like? What he's moving to? That's how you beat Tyson Fury. And like you said, work off the feints and off the jab to catch Tyson Fury with something blind and throw technical punches. Wilder got natural power. He don't gotta pull his right hand back and throw. He don't gotta load up and throw. He just gotta let his right hand go. Technically, man, that's a KO. Trust me, that's a KO. Yeah. So great talking with you, man. Call back next week. We got predictions from 2 major fights coming up. All right.
Okay, appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I had a great talking with you, my man. Yes, sir, man. My man was dropping knowledge on you cats. So I got a couple super chats. My man said, hold on. Shout out to I missed the chat on the studio beer. He said, oh no, that's not it. Hold on. Oh man, I missed it. But I did read the comment, so I do want to respond to it. Someone said that there's not a lot of that's have been a whole lot of cheating going on in the sport of boxing, ever since, back in the day, which was my man alluded to earlier. So we kind of was talking about it when I read it. But also to my man that said, I don't get the Wilder hate. He's a beast. With that said, quick question: is boxing fixed? Well, the term fixed could be really tricky because fixed could be considered a situation where a fighter got set up, right? So if a fighter got set up where, like for Deontay Wilder, where he got set up, it seemed like by Tyson Fury team, but it could have been more than that. It could have been a bigger picture. It could have been to teach Deontay Wilder a lesson, especially on Black History Month. Oh man, because a lot of people, they were hurt by that. So you never know. But at the end of the day, fixed could be a tricky question, which is if you telling me both fighters agreed to it, that's not the case. If you saying fixed where a fighter cheated and there was outside influence to get the job done, absolutely. And my man said, man, Pacquiao, Juice Wilder. I'm seeing a whole lot of AKHi comments. Hold on. I know there's no decaf alert. I know there ain't no decaf alert. So if there's a decaf, you guys gotta let me know. Estrada Garcia. Let me go ahead, because I think that's the man that hit me up on Instagram, right? He said his area code is 333. I don't see it, but I think this is the decaf that have been, like I told you, this is the guy. I got a screenshot. He had been bugging me for a whole week. Logan_Wade.NL. Estrada Garcia. Yep, that's him. That's him. This man don't have no cojones. Tell him to call in because he don't got no cojones. Man, we waiting on you to call in till this day. To this day. To this day. Bomb Squad! Man, listen, man. Are you going to grow cojones or something? Because I had offered this, man. I will pay you money to call in. If you need to go get cojones implanted to call in, do so. But don't schedule a date with me, a time. I was going to go live tomorrow, but I went live today for you. Just to find out that you don't have no cojones? Man, like I said, man, these decafs are really a disappointment. These decafs are really a disappointment. So put pressure on him to call in because I don't got no time. Has a well, he must got them 90s phones. I don't know what he talking about. I told this man I pay you to call in, and he ain't called in yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the phone calls for the people that called in because he said his area code is 333 or 3. That don't even sound believable. But I was like, you know what? I take the gamble. I believe you. That's major cats, that major punks that pulled out on me and went trolling instead. So I thought this troll had some cojones. He kept talking a whole lot of stuff. And like I said, just to expose this fella, because you ain't going to waste my time and then not show up. I don't know if y'all guys could see it, but again, it's Estrada Garcia, Logan_Wade.NL. You see this troll? So after you ain't calling in, you just talking trash, you getting blocked. Because, I'm sure not going to waste any time with a decaf that don't have no cojones. I'm giving you the time to call in. The number is in the description box, but you'd rather troll instead. You done had the whole show to call in. Go ahead, block this decaf, because If I give you a whole show for you to call in, and you don't call in, your ass got to go. But how you doing, Aki? Who this is? Where you calling from? Hello? Hello? Oh man, my man listening to me. I'm Amanda. 918. Can you hear me? 918-344. Can you hear me? Oh, man, I got to get back at you then. How you doing, Aki? Who this is and where you calling from?
Yo, what's going on, Aki? It's your boy Demetrius, man.
Demetrius, what's going on? Let me get with you at this topic real quick. I do want to get your take on, hold on, let me, Ricky Hatton and John Fury, they both came out and said that they worried about Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder in the trilogy. Now, mind you, these are the two that supposedly had all the confidence in the world of Tyson Fury, victory. So what would you be worried about? If Tyson Fury washed Deontay Wilder the way he did the second time, and supposedly he didn't cheat. Supposedly, according to them, that's his power and his skill. So what are they so worried about that they keep telling Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, that this is a dangerous fight for him, and they worried about him? Even John Fury had told Tyson Fury to throw his belt to the trash and duck Deontay Wilder, in which he tried, but he was forced to fight Deontay Wilder or retire. So what's your take on Ricky Hatton and John Fury telling Deontay Wilder to try to escape this fight?
I mean, I did just hear about the fact that he said, well, I would have to fight him or retire, because I think that definitely played a major role. Because I remember even still the other day, I don't know if it was like Monday or Tuesday, whenever the press conference was, he was like, yeah, well, if I fight AJ or if I fight Deontay, like he's still kind of throwing it out there and hopes that it's like some kind of last minute hope that he doesn't have to fight. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny, honestly, because they keep backtracking on what they say, like you said, they're kind of exposing themselves. But yeah, I didn't even hear about the Ricky Hatton thing, honestly, until you just said it. So
yeah, even Ricky Hatton. And we saw what Ricky, I know Ricky Hatton know what's up, because we saw him in the first fight pull Tyson Fury glove down. And when he was asked about the situation, I really wanted to hear about it because I made a video on it. And he has said that, he pulled Tyson Fury gloves up. But in the footage, he clearly looked like he pulled it down. So I don't know what he was talking about. But that clearly lets you know what time it is. He knows what's up. He knows what Tyson Fury did. So he knows what he's up against in the third fight, which is a fight on an even playing field, and Wilder is coming for the kill. So he definitely worried about him, as he should, because in the third fight, he's not going to be able to do what he did in the rematch, which is tamper with his glove. And besides all the other things that he was able to get away with. So, like I said, on July 24th, that's Judgment Day for Tyson Fury, where whatever Allah has written for him, for what he did, for the crime he committed. Well, what I called Deontay Wilder? I called Deontay Wilder right hand, the right hand of justice. Old media didn't want to give Deontay Wilder justice. So God blessed him with that right hand to get justice with his own hand. So July 24th, that's coming, which is Judgment Day for Tyson Fury.
Yeah, man. I think some of the so-called fans, or like, I guess you would call them casuals, it's like the in-between. I don't know if there's a step in between casuals and real fans, but
decafs,
it's like the ones that are a little less. Yeah, it's like
now, let me
you'll
let
have
you know.
decafs, but then you'll have
the in-between. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, because there's a lot of fans that at first they were like, oh, stop making excuses, blah, blah, blah. But now even some of those people are like, well, if you didn't cheat, why are you so scared to fight him, kind of stuff like that. And they're like, we'll see who was really the better fighter. I'm starting to notice like little comments here and there. It's like, all right, at least some of these fans are starting to wisen up. Because at first they were like, oh, Deontay Wilder just making excuses, or there's no way. But I feel like people are really curious. Like, even the people that were saying that, in the back of their mind, they still were wondering. It's like, well, how do you explain this and this? And they're like, oh, well, I don't have to explain it because it's like, people kind of, even if you're all the way out there defending them, you still kind of had doubt in the back of your mind. And I know that goes even for Tyson Fury's team. So, yeah, man, like you said, July 24th, I would love to go to that fight. I don't know if it's actually sold out or not, but it's going to be interesting. Hopefully, Deontay Wilder kind of sharpen up a couple extra facets of his game, like you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he worked on a little, ways to kind of maneuver around. Because, like you said, Tyson Fury is not as good when he's having to back up. Like, he's good when he can control the tempo of the fight. But if you make him uncomfortable, that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be an uncomfortable fight for him. So, I think if he kind of sticks to his guns, he'll be all right.
And if Wilder ever gets Tyson Fury where he start trading, we already know who's going to get the benefit of that. I mean, like I said, what Holyfield was talking about, you've seen Deontay Wilder just go from here to here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just straight downhill.
Right.
We saw Deontay Wilder and what he's capable of against a skillful heavyweight that was a southpaw, tricky, with power, Luis Ortiz. We saw Luis Ortiz in the first fight against Deontay Wilder in the 7th round. He was catching Deontay Wilder with everything. Still, Deontay Wilder came back, recovered, and had his second win. So nothing, none of that came in with Tyson Fury. It's like Wilder was waking up, and then it seemed like Mark Breland was giving him something. Whatever was taking place, like I said, we can't prove what's secondary, like him getting drugged, him getting drugged, so on and so forth. But we can prove definitely Tyson Fury glove being tampered with. So, you know what I'm saying? That alone right there lets you know if Tyson Fury had to do that, that's a whole lot of fishy things that was taking place. So we will see, what's going to happen in the trilogy. With that being said, I have one last caller, I want to pick up before I let, I end the show. So any last thoughts before I pick up the next caller?
Basically just like you were just saying, like, for the people that were doubting this whole thing, if we see a whole totally different fight, like if the whole energy of the fight is different, people can make excuses and be like, oh, well, Tyson Fury may be having a bad night, or oh, Deontay Wilder had a good night. But if you can tell little things like, the direction of the fight, because like you said, if Deontay Wilder could just keep him in that danger zone like he did with Ruiz, because he kind of wasn't really winning that fight. I mean, it was debatable, it was going back and forth, but a lot of people think he was kind of almost losing the fight at that point, right before the knockout. But he kept him in that zone that was like,
but he was alive. Deontay Wilder was alive the whole time. You could feel that. If Luis Ortiz makes one mistake, it's like the fight is over, and that's how it is with Wilder.
Kept him right there.
That's how it is with Wilder. All the fights are really like that. If you make one mistake, the fighter will pay. But Wilder wasn't in shape to make Tyson Fury. Even if Tyson Fury made a mistake, he didn't have to pay because Wilder looked such in a terrible shape. That's why I said if Tyson Fury cannot replicate the same thing he did in the rematch, we already know something was wrong where Wilder was set up, right? So in the trilogy, we'll see if Tyson, because they said Wilder don't have skills. They said Wilder can't fight. They said you can't teach an old dog new tricks. They said Wilder is a bum. He has zero skills. So keep the same energy. Tyson Fury should have no problem beating Deontay Wilder worse than he did the second time. But if he can't, and it's a totally different fight, what's understood don't have to be explained.
Right,
And let me go ahead and pick up the last caller before.
Like you said, they always find a way to call somebody boring, but then when you find somebody with knockout power, they find every way to diminish them. Like, oh, well, he doesn't have this particular skill up to par as the rest of them. It's like, all right, but he's pretty much the biggest knockout artist in the heavyweight division. So it's like, what you really want? Like, you want a skilled boxer, or do you want a knockout artist? Because it's like every time you get one or the other, you kind of make excuses, and other people are held to higher standards. Like, we already know it, man.
Yep,
but it's just like, it's kind of obvious when people are running out of excuses. So, yeah, like you said, if the whole fight is different and it just completely feels and looks different, then we already know.
Yes,
so I'm looking forward to it.
For sure. And we already know fighters on the coincidental list, they got to do 3, 4 times more just to get half of the credit. And yeah, let me go ahead and pick up the last caller, my man. All right, appreciate it. Great talking with you.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You too, bro.
How you doing, AKHi? Who this is, or where you calling from?
What's going on, Aki? This is Joey from South Florida.
Joey, what's going on, man? Well, talk to me, man. You were supposed to
You
set up a
know.
debate, and come on now.
First off, I want to apologize because for anybody who's wondering what's going on, I was the man who set up this quote unquote decaf. Actually, no, straight up decaf to actually go up against Aki. He was blowing up my phone, texting me, started talking about Canelo this, Canelo that, Andre bum, Andre this, and I said, okay, how about you call in with Aki? And he said, all right, bet. He was telling me this, and I gave him all the instructions. I told him days ahead. I kept asking him, are you sure you're going to call in? He said, yeah. I said, all right, bet. I said, even when Aki exposes you, I'll give you respect for having cojones, because I straight up told him that. And then literally an hour before I said, are you still going to call in? He said, yeah, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I literally got screenshots. 10 minutes before this actually happened. This man's like, oh, I don't have service. I can't call people on this phone. He says, I got 2 phones. Neither one of them can call people. And I'm like, you telling me this now after all these days? Oh, and then he says like, oh yeah, nah. I told you this before, and he can't even find it. Yeah, you can't find it because that never happened. See, the difference between I'm the truth because you straight up are telling me 10 minutes ahead of time, or right before the live starts, and I put my neck out for you. I was telling you, Aki, this man was telling me he's gonna call, and this is how you make me look. That you embarrass me, but more importantly, you embarrass yourself, and I don't feel bad for you at all because I went out of my way to make sure this thing happened, and I'm never doing that stuff again.
Man, trust me,
Right
I told you.
You got no problem.
Man, I told you these decafs need to get cojones implanted because you ain't showing your face, you ain't showing nothing but your voice. What you tripping about? Why you so afraid? That's what I don't comprehend. And my man said in the comment section, is this Estrada Garcia? Yep, that's him. And his Instagram is Logan, LOGAN _WADE.NL. Hit him up on Instagram and let him know that he don't got no cojones because, like I said, they do a whole lot of talking, and that's what I told you, Joey. I told you they fool me all the time like this. I always tell them, grow some cojones and call in. I set up appointments with all these decafs, and they all a no-show. As soon as the live is over, they in the comment section being keyboard warriors. So I've been having this experience for a hot minute. So what did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? Man, I don't believe it. It's too good to be true. Didn't I tell you that?
I mean, this got to be a world record though, because this man straight up set this 10 minutes before, and I'm like, nah, you can't be. You got to be trolling me. You got to be joking. You got to be. And I'm literally like, oh, I'm okay. How about you do this? How about? And the funny thing is, I'm not trying to expose this man's business, but there was an opportunity where he straight up said, I said, can you use someone else's phone? He said, yes, but I can't use their phone because of, fuck it, because he doesn't want to get in trouble. And then I realized, okay, he's a little on the younger side, which is all right. That's fine.
So it's okay.
Hey,
it's okay. We talk to anybody. I told him I send him money. I give him $20 to call in. All I want him to do is call in because I really want to hear his point of view. But I mean, we already know what time it is, man.
I mean, I could tell you his point of view. This man was trying to tell me that Billy Joe Saunders, Callum Smith, and all those guys were one better fighters and bigger fighters than Demetrius Andrade. All this nonsense. He was also trying to tell me that Ryan Garcia would knock Devin Haney out, but at the same time, Ryan Garcia is also ducking Devin Haney, but at the same time, he's saying, but Devin Haney's ducking Ryan too. It's just a bunch of nonsense.
Man.
And then telling me that, and I'm straight up just, and I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, he's fighting Billy Joe Saunders. Like, Canelo's fighting Billy Joe Saunders. It's a bigger fight. And I asked him, okay,
if Andre is no threat to Canelo, if you really think Andre has no chance, why is it that Saunders was so scared that he was willing to take steroids? And his answer, I kid you not, was, I don't know. He says, I don't know why he did that. I said, if you don't know why, then what are we talking about here? And that was his recurring answer. I don't know. And yet he kept saying, oh, I exposed you. I'm like, you exposed yourself. You agreed with most of my points. And other times when you couldn't answer my question, you gave me an I don't know. And then you trolled me. The only thing you did was waste my time. And I'm embarrassed to say that this kid did that to me. I'm embarrassed to you, AKHi, because in doing so, I wasted your time, and I didn't even do that because I came here thinking that I would bring these cats in here to have a nice debate to see him get exposed, but he didn't even let you expose him. He exposed himself to being a scary little kid. He didn't want to even call him.
Man,
Pulled out 10 minutes.
he was a live victim. From what, man, you from what you saying, he sounded like he was a live victim that was ready to cook himself. Because man, I would have loved to expose them talking points that he had. But damn, man, I wish we could set up this again, though. You know, hopefully he grows some cojones one day. I mean, eventually you got to grow some cojones. If he's a little kid, you know, it's okay. Hopefully he grow up one day and have enough cojones where he's gonna call in. But you know, we shall see.
Yeah,
Like
it's all right. It's okay, man. You got time to grow, but don't be wasting my time. Because the thing is, I'll be in the middle of work doing my thing, and I see a text, and it's the same kid telling me, talking about Andre and Canelo. And first thing I said, you up with the debate with AKHi, so you can get at least your little 15 minutes of fame and then be on your business after he exposes you. At least you have an opportunity for that. But why are you trying to debate me? And now I realize, oh, you're a keyboard warrior, and that's all you ever be.
Yeah,
you don't have the cojones to jump in and debate like a real man.
Yeah,
you're not a man.
He sound like
developing.
He sound like another, yeah. I mean, let me tell you this, man. He sound like another punk drunk fan, and that's what he is. Just another.
Oh yeah,
punk.
he was. He was. Straight up was.
You know, that's all he is. He's just a punk fan that don't got no cojones
to
call
fan him. And an IBSP fan. Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah. Because the thing is, he straight up mentioned that too. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna expose AKHi the same way he punched it. I'm like, exposed? They never even debated. How you gonna expose something that never even happened? Yeah. You're like, this is what I should have known from there. And the worst and the funniest part about this is that he's from the exact same place as Canelo. So I don't know what it is about that place. So they just breed dudes who just naturally don't have cojones. Is that what it is? Because I was straight up saying, I'm like, you ain't no real Mexican. And I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go there, but come on, man. It's okay. It's one thing to be a Canelo fan, but it's another thing to be a Super Saiyan Canelo fanboy who has the same ideals and wants to back out last minute because you don't have the nerve to actually do it straight up.
Man, that's
see that, man? Like it's like what I told you before. It's tough. It's like this is another Clubber Lang Rocky 3 incident. Clubber Lang came to Rocky straight up, said, "You don't have the cojones to fight me." The only difference is Rocky actually fought Clubber Lang. I can't say the same about Canelo.
And I can't say the same thing about Esteban Garcia because he ain't called in either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like I said, for all the decafs that's tuning in, that's listening, I won't hurt you physically. I'm just gonna hurt you emotionally. So come here, get this free education with the medication, which is the truth that will set you free or burn your emotional soul. So let me read the super chat real quick. The man said, "Are you going to go live streaming and commentating Wilder versus Fury fight? If so, can I call in? I mean, if I do, you could call in, but I got to make sure I'm able to do that and cover the fight afterwards. So if I only could do one or the other, I'd rather cover it afterwards. So we shall see. I for sure gonna let you know on that day. But yeah, man, like I said, man, they do a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of capping, but when it's smoke time, when it's time to debate, they afraid to face the truth. That just shows you and further proves how powerful is the truth is. You know, they do a whole lot of talking, a whole lot of capping, but when they force to face the truth head on the freaking phone, you don't even gotta be in person. You don't even gotta show your face. They so afraid. They so afraid because they know everything they say is a lie.
And the funniest thing about this is, I straight up asked him, I said, you know what? Bullshit aside, just answer me this straight up. I said, did I not waste over an hour trying to make sure you could talk to AKHi? And he straight up said, yes, I can admit that. And then on top of that, I said, first off, why don't you just use someone else's phone like you say? He said, no, because I'm going to get mad. I said, why are you going to get mad? It's just a debate. AKHi already told you it's going to be respectful because I'm still going to get upset. And then I realized, he's emotional. He's going to get emotional. And, you know, when we pointed out the fact, you're not emotional. You get emotional when people are hurting your feelings and talking about your favorite fighters. And he's like, no, he's spreading lies. I said, he ain't spreading lies. And the fact that you're getting so wound up about it shows that you're the emotional one here. Because Canelo's your idol. I know how it is. You probably have a poster of him on your wall. You look at him, you say, man, I want to be just like Canelo. And you trust me, you on the way, man. You on the way, because you duck and smoke just like Canelo Alvarez to this day.
Oh man, you ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. So hopefully he does grow some cojones. Like I said, we aired him out, so he knows what it's all about. Esteban Garcia, grow some cojones. Quit being like your favorite fighter, and actually grow some cojones to call in. You ain't fighting in the ring. All you doing is call in. So
I warned him.
Yeah.
I warned him.
You know, and
so don't be upset blowing up my phone saying I warned you. You did this crap. That was gonna blow you. I was gonna expose you to everybody here. And,
Yes,
and this is exactly what you deserve. You
like
wasted my time, AKHi's time, and everybody else's time.
And this is Esteban Garcia. His Instagram name is Logan_Wade.NL. Just another punk drunk fan. So with that being said, I appreciate you, my man. And we're gonna call, we're definitely gonna chop it up next week with Gervonta fight and Lomachenko, giving out predictions and stuff. So I'll talk to you next time.
Likewise, AKHi, you keep it good. Grow some cojones, man.
Tell him. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, my man. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out to my man, Southpaw 773 TV. Man, my man be on Canelo neck. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And my camera already died on me, so subscribe below, click on the notification bell, and to be continued on the next episode of AKHi TV. Peace, and I'm on to the next one.